Ever wish you could just snap your fingers and suddenly speak English fluently? I know I have. Well, while finger-snapping magic might not be real, there are definitely proven ways to boost your English skills, and you've come to the right place to discover them. Hi everyone, and welcome to English Learning Community. I'm Emma, your host, and I'm so excited you're here. In this video, we're going to dive deep into practical strategies to significantly improve your English speaking, listening, and even your writing skills. Now, you might be wondering, how exactly will this video help me? Great question. This video isn't just about theory. It's about actionable advice you can start using immediately. We'll be covering proven techniques to enhance your listening comprehension, so you can finally understand those fast-talking native speakers. We'll explore powerful methods to boost your spoken fluency, so you can confidently express yourself in any situation. And, as a bonus, we'll even touch on how these techniques can strengthen your English writing, too. Think about it. Imagine effortlessly understanding your favorite English movies without subtitles, confidently chatting with English speakers from around the world, and expressing your thoughts and ideas in writing with clarity and precision. Sounds amazing, right? We'll be exploring all of this and more, including a super effective strategy that I personally use to rapidly expand my vocabulary. A strategy that I'll be revealing at the very end of this video. So, make sure you stick around until the end to unlock that game-changing tip. So, are you ready to take your English skills to the next level? Let's get started. The Jeep rattled along the dusty road, the scent of ripe coffee cherries heavy in the air. I peered out the window, mesmerized by the endless rows of coffee plants cascading down the hillsides. This was it, my first visit to a coffee plantation. My companions were my uncle, David, a seasoned coffee aficionado who could practically smell the difference between Arabica and Robusta beans from a mile away, and my cousin, Emily, a perpetually curious photographer with an eye for detail. David, with his booming laugh and encyclopedic knowledge of coffee cultivation, was the driving force behind this excursion. Emily, quieter and more observant, clicked away with her camera, capturing the essence of the landscape. I, somewhere in between, was both excited and slightly apprehensive. I knew embarrassingly little about coffee despite consuming it daily. My primary motivation was to finally understand the journey from bean to cup. We arrived at the Hacienda Esmeralda, the name painted in elegant script on a weathered wooden sign. The plantation was a symphony of greens, the deep emerald of the coffee leaves, the lighter shade of the banana trees providing shade, and the vibrant green of the surrounding rainforest. Magnificent, isn't it? David boomed, inhaling deeply. Smell that air, rich with the promise of caffeine. Emily chuckled, adjusting her lens. I'm more interested in capturing the light. Look how it filters through the leaves. I simply nodded, taking it all in. The air was indeed thick with a unique aroma, earthy, sweet, and slightly fruity. We were greeted by a young woman named Isabella, our guide for the day. She had a warm smile and spoke with an easy confidence that instantly put me at ease. "Welcome to Hacienda Esmeralda," Isabella said, her English impeccable. "I'm so glad you're here. Are you ready to learn about the magic of coffee?" We eagerly followed Isabella through the plantation. She explained the different stages of coffee cultivation, from planting the seedlings to harvesting the ripe cherries. She described the meticulous process of drying and sorting the beans, her passion for the craft evident in every word. "We use a sustainable harvesting method here," Isabella explained, gesturing towards the workers carefully picking only the ripe cherries. "It ensures the highest quality and protects the health of the plants." "Fascinating," David murmured, examining a coffee plant with a discerning eye. "So, tell me, what variety is this?" Isabella launched into a detailed explanation of the specific variety grown at the plantation, touching upon its flavor profile and resistance to disease. David, ever the expert, peppered her with questions, creating a lively back and forth that was both informative and entertaining. Emily, meanwhile, was busy capturing the intricate details of the coffee flowers and the vibrant red of the ripe cherries. As we walked, I found myself increasingly intrigued. The process was far more complex than I had imagined. It was a delicate dance between nature and human intervention, a testament to the dedication and skill of the people who cultivated this beloved beverage. However, as Isabella began describing the wet processing method, using terms like fermentation tanks and mucilage removal, I started to feel a bit lost. I didn't want to interrupt the flow of conversation, but I also desperately needed clarification. Isabella," I finally stammered, "could you explain that part again? I'm not quite sure I understand the mucilage part." Isabella smiled patiently. "Of course. The mucilage is a sticky layer surrounding the bean. We remove it through a fermentation process, which also impacts the final flavor of the coffee." She went on to explain the process in simpler terms, using analogies that helped me grasp the concept. "Ah, I see," I said, feeling a wave of relief. "That makes much more sense now." Speaking practice. Practice speaking this sentence aloud. "I'm not quite sure I understand the mucilage part." Focus on clear pronunciation and intonation. Vocabulary explanation. Aficionado. A person who is very knowledgeable and enthusiastic about an activity, subject, or pastime. Example: he's a wine aficionado with a cellar full of vintage bottles. Meticulous. Showing great attention to detail. Very careful and precise. Example: she completed the project with meticulous care. We continued our tour, eventually reaching the drying patios where the beans were spread out to bask in the sun. The aroma here was even more intense, a heady mix of sweetness and earthiness. I scooped up a handful of the drying beans, feeling their rough texture against my palm. It was a tangible connection to the journey of the coffee, a journey that had suddenly become so much more meaningful. As we finished the tour, Isabella led us to a small cafe overlooking the plantation. We sampled freshly brewed coffee, the culmination of everything we had learned. The flavor was rich and complex, with notes of chocolate and citrus. It was the best cup of coffee I had ever tasted. Later, as the Jeep bumped along the road back to town, I reflected on the day. I had arrived with a vague curiosity about coffee, but I was leaving with a newfound appreciation for the intricate process and the people who made it possible. It was more than just a beverage, it was a story, a culture, a passion. And I, finally, understood a small part of that story. The experience had not only deepened my understanding of coffee, but also boosted my confidence in using English to ask questions, seek clarification, and engage in meaningful conversations. I realized that the best way to improve fluency was to immerse myself in real-life situations, embrace the occasional stumble, and never be afraid to ask, could you explain that again?